The Tao of Self-Confidence, Episode 680. Welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. Visit our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits. Well, hello friend, welcome to the Tao of Self-Confidence, where I share stories of amazing women who have discovered their inner journey to self-confidence. I'm your host today, Sheena Yap-Chan, and today I have an amazing lady on the show today. She is the founder of InHerShoes Inc, and I'm really excited to have her on and share her story with us today on self-confidence. So without further ado, I'm going to introduce you to Judith Martinez. Judith, how are you today? Maybe you can fill in a little bit more about yourself to the listeners.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me, Sheena. Hi, everyone. For all the listeners out there, my name is Judith Martinez, as Sheena said, and I'm the founder and CEO of InHerShoes Inc. And we are a nonprofit social enterprise that's based in Los Angeles, California, with chapters all over the U.S. And we're pretty much an organization that is truly focused on empowering women to live lives that they love, one act of courage at a time. And so our mission is to catalyze courage for women, especially minority women, to really go outside of their comfort zones and pursue passions that they're authentically really aligned with and have that be a career that they pursue throughout their lifetime. So that's a little bit about me and what InHerShoes is creating in terms of our mission in the world.
Thanks for sharing that. I really love that mission, especially like now's the time to actually go out there and do what we love, right? And now that we have more tools and resources that are popping up, it's just a great time to go out there and show other people that we can go out there and, do what we love and do it as a career. And so I really, really love the mission that you have for InHerShoes Inc. And Judith, what's your cultural background?
Yeah, so I am Filipina. Both my parents immigrated from the Philippines at the age of 26, which is very crazy for me to think about because I just turned 27 this year. And so to think of like my parents emigrating and literally starting life all over again at the age where I'm still trying to figure out who I am is just mind blowing to me.
Thanks for sharing that. And what would be your favorite self-confidence quote?
I would honestly say it would be, "No one can make you feel inferior without your consent," by Eleanor Roosevelt.
Thanks for sharing that great quote. And in your own words, how do you define self-confidence?
In my own words, how would I define self-confidence? Honestly, I would say self-confidence is a experience and a declaration that only you yourself can give for you. And it's something that doesn't rely on any kind of external person, situation, circumstance, or even feeling, but it's truly something that comes from within.
Thanks for sharing that great definition. And Judith, what was your life like before your discovery of self-confidence?
I think, in my opinion, discovering self-confidence is an ongoing experience. I don't believe, at least from my own personal experience, I don't think you just discover self-confidence and then you're self-confident forever at every moment. I guess when it comes to before I really delved deeper into what self-confidence was, I really was afraid of so many things in my life and I wouldn't take any action around it. And I think I would dream a lot, but I wouldn't really put those dreams into reality and actualize them. So I think life before really discovering my own self-confidence was very small, I think, compared to the vision I had for myself.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think as women, we all go through that, right? The fear, the inaction, because we're too afraid to maybe make a mistake or we fail, or we're afraid of what people might think of us. And especially in an Asian upbringing, right? It's not typical for you to go out there and do your own thing. It's you've been told to go to school to become a doctor, a lawyer, a nurse, or just work a job for the next 30 to 40 years. And so to do something outside of that too, it's you don't have as much support system as you would, doing the normal route. But what was that point in your life when you realized you were more than enough to go out there and be who you are today, especially creating, InHerShoes Inc? What was that aha moment?
Well, for me, I really believe that quote unquote or stereotypical or sometimes the aha moment that we often hear about in society can seem oh, you were living life one day and then all of a sudden, bam, something happened and then your life was completely different. I think in some cases, that's very much true. But I also believe, and I challenge that notion by saying, I think that big aha moment really consists of a lot of smaller aha moments. And what I mean by that is, like for me, and it's great that you mentioned, Sheena, become a doctor or a lawyer, and that's what being successful looks like, because that was definitely what it looked like for my life. I think the biggest moment that led to an aha moment was my senior year at university. I got accepted to my dream law school, and you'd think it would be such an exciting and momentous time, but really for me, I was so scared. And I remember opening the acceptance letter and I just started bawling, and I locked myself into my apartment bedroom. And I remember just being on the floor and realizing, oh my gosh, I'm crying, but these aren't tears of joy. And that was like a real wake up call for me. And so I think that was kind of a big aha moment where it led to me ultimately creating InHerShoes. And I think it was also just being honest with myself and having the courage to ask the tough questions of, is this really something that you want to do with your life? And if it isn't, do you have the courage to actually do something about it and change your mind and tell people that you've changed your mind? So that for me was like a really big moment in my career and just growing up, I think, as a young Asian American woman.
Thanks for sharing that story that you mentioned, because there's so many people who do things that they're not happy about, right? But they do it for the sake of doing things, right? Or for the sake of pleasing other people. Most people would be jumping up the wall to be accepted to their dream law school, but that wasn't your dream, that was someone else's dream. And like you mentioned, you started asking those tough questions and digging deep, and which led you to create, InHerShoes. And because of your realizations, what's your life been like now?
Oh my gosh, it's been so awesome. And at the same time, awesome looks like nights where I'm just crying, completely regretting and doubting, did I do the right thing? This is so hard. And, I think for the life that I live now, there's nothing that I would want to change about it. And I'm completely grateful for it. And I think a big part of that is because I can actually wake up every morning and say, this is the life that I choose to live. And no one has told me to do it. No one's expected me to do it. It's all because I say so. And so I think that has been one of the most fulfilling things for me, is to be able to say that.
Thanks for sharing that. And I think that's great. You can wake up knowing that, you're doing what you choose, right?
Right.
Nobody else's decision but your own. And it doesn't matter if it's a good decision or a bad decision, it's a decision. And I think people forget to celebrate just learning to make your own decisions, especially as Asian women, right? We've been trained to never make a decision. So the act of making your own decisions is a huge accomplishment on its own. So I think that's really great.
I love that. I love that you put that in. Yes, celebrating the act of just making a decision. Juicy. I love it. Yeah.
Thanks. And, to the woman who's listening to your episode, she may be in her own journey to self-confidence. What would be that one tip you would give to her?
Well, I would say, sis, I've totally been there, and you're not alone, and it's okay. Wherever you're at, it's okay. And it's perfect that you're at this point in your life, because whether you feel like it or not, or whether you believe it or not, it is honestly the place that sets you up to get to where you need to be. And I'd also say, be generous with yourself. It's freaking hard to grow up, I think, in general, but especially in the time that we live in right now. I think we're so quote unquote connected because of social media and the digital age, but at the same time, we can feel so alone and isolated because of it. And so I would really just encourage you to be at peace and to work towards being at peace with where you're at, and to give yourself the generosity to just be there and learn to love yourself in the process.
Thanks for sharing that great tip. And, if our listeners wanted to get to know a little bit more about you and what you do, or check out InHerShoes, is there any links or social media profiles we can connect with?
Absolutely. Come hang out with us online. You can find us on our website at www.inhershoesmovement.org. And you can find us on social media at InHerShoes, and then it's going to be the abbreviation for movement, so MVMT. So at InHerShoes MVMT.
Thanks for sharing that. And to our listeners, if you want to connect with Judith, you can also head on over to the taoofselfconfidence.com and search for Judith's name. Her show notes will pop up along with everything else that we talked about. And I really just want to thank Judith today for taking the time to share her story and tips with us on self-confidence. So thank you so much, Judith.
Thank you, Sheena, and thank you everyone, all of your community and your sisterhood. I love it.
Awesome. Thanks again. I really appreciate it. And to our listeners, be on the lookout for another new episode of another amazing woman's journey to self-confidence, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye for now. Thank you for tuning in to another amazing episode of the Tao of Self-Confidence. Want to learn how you can use podcasting to market your business? Download your free report by visiting our website at thetaoofselfconfidence.com. Your inner journey to self-confidence awaits.